Today we will be discussing what some would call a budget mic and headset. We'll be running some tests on them and comparing them to some higher end microphones. If you do anything with YouTube, podcasting, or anything audio pretty much, you know the importance and the value of having really good audio and how it's kind of a non-negotiable thing, which is kind of a problem for people like me that are on a really thin budget because as you may know, really high quality audio stuff is pretty expensive. First of all, we will be discussing the portable USB microphone kit. This is sold by MAONO, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and these studio headphones that they send with. They sell them separately, but it's preferable that you buy them together as kind of a package deal. That's actually how they want you to buy it. All right, let's go over what the company describes or advertises these products as, like the different perks that the company says that they have, and then we'll actually test it and see if that's true. So some details about the mic. It features a cardioid polar pattern. Essentially is a design that reduces pickup of sounds from the sides and improves the insulation of the sound source, making a clearer and more realistic sound. The gain is easily adjustable. They say that it has a built-in high-resolution sound chip. It's compatible with Windows and Mac, and my personal favorite, it is a plug-and-play, which basically means you jam that puppy in your computer, voila, you're good to go. It sets up automatically, you just hit record. Now, some details about the studio headphones. They say that it has good insulation, it has 50mm large drivers, it has a very balanced output, so very broad frequency range. It goes from about 20 megahertz to 20 kilohertz, which is pretty standard for studio headsets. They say it has fully enclosed ear cups, so completely over ear. It also comes with a 3.5mm aux plug-in and a 6.35mm plug-in, which is more for like the amp plug-in. So we're going to discuss one product at a time, and then I'll give you my opinion on it, and then we'll move to the next one, and then we'll wrap the video up. First, about the microphone. I'm going to record a bunch of samples for you. I'm going to give you my opinion, but ultimately you're going to be the one that makes the final call. I would recommend you use like headphones or really good earbuds, because if you're listening through a computer or through your phone, you're going to have a harder time being able to pick up like the really dynamic sides of this, which is very important. Unboxing this mic, it is pretty clearly a budget setup. It's very minimal, it's lacking some features, and it feels pretty cheap, honestly. But I really don't care about those things as long as the audio sounds good. The plug and play works perfectly. I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. The gain knob is pretty normal. Basically, I didn't see anything that I was surprised by on this thing. It's very minimal, but like I said, it is a little bit cheaper, so let's look at some drawbacks to a cheaper microphone like this. It does not have an aux plug-in into the actual mic, which is something that higher end mics tend to have. It's very nice for setup because you can just plug that in. You don't have to hit record or anything. You can hear how it sounds. You'll have to run everything through your computer, all the audio, which is totally fine. It just means the setup is going to take a little bit longer. Now let's talk about the actual audio. For what this mic costs, the chipset is actually pretty decent, but with any cheaper microphone like this, you're going to lose the crisp, the sharp edges that give it that really precise feel. And you'll see that in the tests that we run. I'll make sure and emphasize that so you can hear it. So for the test, I'll be reading the same script back to back so you can hear it on one and then on the other. I'll be comparing it with the Blue Yeti. Let's get some perspective here. So the Blue Yeti costs like 4 to 5 times as much as this microphone. So keep that in mind when you hear the audio qualities. I'm going to be getting pretty close. I don't want the gain to be too high because the laptop fan is actually running right now, which is right behind the mic. So for some of the previous tests I've done, I think the MAONO sounds a little flat, like the edges aren't quite as sharp. The S, for example, is not nearly as clear. Say I was going to say something very specific. The MAONO makes you feel like you're having a conversation with someone. Like they're right across from you with zero background noise. It's just a normal conversation. Sometimes it's good to have a not perfect sound. I think it actually gives a more realistic and personal feel. With some of the previous tests that I've done, I think the MAONO sounds a little flatter. The edges aren't quite as sharp. The S, for example, comes out way clearer. Say I was going to say something essential. Say I was going to say something very specific. The MAONO makes you feel like you're having a personal conversation with someone like who's directly across from you with no background noise. So that's basically like the podcast scenario. Like you're sitting in your sound foam, you're recording a podcast, it's right up next to you. What if you're filming a video like this? Well, it would sound exactly like this. Plot twist. I've been using this thing the whole time, sitting right here. So let me switch them out. It's pretty easy to tell the difference, but make sure you think about the sound quality and like whether or not you like that personal kind of feel, or if you want that like super studio. Now let's say I was recording a video exactly like this. What exactly would that sound like? You actually get a perfect sound of what it's like. It's just sitting right here, right in front of me, down to my right, about 1.5 feet, 2 feet away, and I just turn the gain up. It picks it up great. You can hear the difference. I can't yet. So I'll let you be the judge of what this sounds like versus the other microphone. There's kind of a comparison of what it would sound like, the two mics in a scenario like this, which is how I'm mostly going to be using it. And even with like a instrument, like if I busted out the guitar, it sounds very good. Maybe I'll drop some recordings in of some of the recordings I've done with my guitar. It comes through very clean, very clear. So those are the two tests. I'll let you be the judge of deciding that. Obviously, most people don't have $150 to sink into a microphone like this, especially not people like me that are just, they're not making money from this. It's just a hobby so far. They want to develop their skills before they sink money into something. So, conclusion on this microphone. Personally, I think it performs very well. I was actually very pleasantly surprised versus the cost of what it is. I thought this thing would be trash, but honestly, it performs very well. Compared to the Blue Yeti, it loses, obviously, because the Blue Yeti is like 4 or 5 times expensive. So, I mean, not really a fair contest. So for someone like me, this fits my needs very well without blasting a massive hole in my savings. I love the natural feel to it. It feels like you're just having a conversation with someone. It doesn't sound enhanced. Am I going to upgrade? Yeah, you better believe it. But for now, I'm content with this microphone. Super duper quick, let's talk about these headphones. These are studio headphones. I've used them pretty much every single day for around a month. So I have a pretty good feel of what these things are like, and I've used them for very long periods of time. So first, the things that I like, and then the things that I dislike. First thing that I noticed right off the bat is the audio is very clean. It's a very wide range of frequency that comes in. So like even low notes sound very clean, and very high notes sound very crisp. You're not losing any detail. It's not like you're using Bose or Beats where the bass is like amplified. I went back to my Beats after using these for like a couple days, and I'm like, yeah, no, not happening. I'm not going back. Like when you listen to yourself talking with these things, it sounds exactly like if your clone was standing there talking to you face to face. They're very comfortable. They don't squish your head. They're very light. They're soft, so you can wear them for pretty long periods of time. The other cool thing is that when you plug them in to your computer, there is zero hum or noise coming in whatsoever from the actual headphones. A lot of headphones, when you plug them in or connect them, there's that slight little hiss or hum that you hear. These things, zero. Now, let's talk about what I dislike about these things. First thing you'll notice is that they're very cheap. They're made with plastic. They claim that they're reinforced and built really good, but they feel really cheap and they look cheap. But as long as the audio is good, like, who cares, right? They don't just come out and say like super noise canceling, but they say very good noise insulation. And I really haven't felt that. The other issue I had was with the over ear part of them. So like where your ear goes inside is very small. In fact, like my ear does not fit inside of this. Like most of my ear was inside of it, but the tops and bottoms were like that was sitting on top of them. It's kind of weird, but like if your ear's on your head like this, if you just like sit them on top, it won't work. Whereas if your ear's like this and you kind of come in on top and like scoop the top part of your ear inside and then fold it in, then they're actually over ear. If I buy something like this again, I'm definitely gonna go with something with a little bit bigger cups. But I do love the sound quality and just the flatness of it and the detail that you grab. Oh my goodness, absolutely love it. Real quick, I just want to remind you guys that a video like this takes around 10 to 15 hours of work. And so if you want to help further my goal of becoming a full-time YouTuber, simply dropping a like or comment on this actually goes a really, really long ways. But those are the two products. That is my opinion on them. They've got some strengths, they've got some weaknesses. Hopefully that narrows down your perspectives. It narrows down your options, hopefully gives you a better feel for what you want to go for. If you want to research these headphones and this mic better, I have the links down in the description so you can look at their webpage. You can see all the details there. Totally up to you. Just want to give you guys a informative look of what you would be purchasing from this. So as always, stay creative and I'll see you in the next video.
And enter today's candidate, the first in our low-cost studio headphone review process is the MAONO MH601. I'll never understand MAONO's naming process, but since their microphone did so well for us in the past, I wanted to give the company an opportunity to get their name out here and have a chance to see exactly how these work. At the time of review, these headphones were running about $45 on Amazon, with a coupon here and there that had different prices depending on the sellers. Now, I will admit that I am stepping a little out of my comfort zone with this review, as my prior experience with headphones was typically the gaming style class, these HyperX style or something along that line. So coming into the studio headphones is just a different type of environment and a different classification of headphones, but I thought these really deserved a good review to be able to go through. First thing we can talk about is, what do you actually get in the box with these? You end up with these headphones, which I'm really happy that the cord is detachable. I just like when you're trying to travel with them or something, you can detach the cords out of these, and you get a coiled cable here to hook up to either a mixer or a hi-fi stereo, and then these are threaded connectors to go down to the 1/8" jack on like a cell phone or a small stereo system of some sort. I personally don't like these screw-on jacks because you're limited to only being able to use them for this cable. They're not really adaptable to anything else unless you have these other type of connectors. And I'm not a huge fan of this coiled cable. These to me are just bulky and they kind of get in the way when you're trying to use them or hook them up to the mixer and stuff. So I won't be using this cable today, but I didn't notice any differences in audio quality when I use that between my other cables that I have available to me. Now, a few things to talk about. The design of these headphones is that the ear cups do have a 360-degree rotation on both sides, and then they can turn up to about 90 degrees one direction to turn them off ear if you're just trying to hold them and listen to them versus actually putting them on. More of like DJs do that quite often and things like that, where they don't want to actually slip the headphones completely on, but they just want to be able to listen to one ear at a time or something. The headband does adjust quite a bit of a range. It's definitely way bigger than my head is. This goes up to, each side is numbered 1 to 7, and I only click them out like 2 on each side to keep them on my head pretty snug. The headband's not very tight. There's a soft fabric pad on the inside of this, on the inside of the headband to keep it from rubbing or snagging or anything like that. The ear cups themselves are this leather style material. I'm sure that this is not real leather. It's probably some kind of pleather material or something, and it does have a little padded fabric on the inside of the driver there. In terms of size for the ear cups, the one thing that I was kind of uncertain about is I don't feel like I have very large ears, and I feel like my ear fits very snugly in there. So if you have a larger ear size, these might not work for you. These might be a little bit too small in that aspect. But that's just something that you're going to have to kind of determine and feel out. They do fit really well for me, and because of the small ear cups, I believe they block out quite a bit of sound once they're being worn. If I have any type of audio being playing, no matter what the level, it pretty much drowns out anybody talking in the room with me or anything like that. It pretty much, they do a pretty good job of self-isolation without any active noise cancellation. In terms of connections, these actually have a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch connection on the headphones here that you can actually connect either to. It seems that on the inside of the headphones, these are wired together in the same format, so you can actually use the 1/4 inch for a mixer or the 1/8 inch for a CD player or an MP3 player or a phone or something along that line. It actually does a pass-through as well, so you could use the 1/4 inch to a hi-fi stereo and then have somebody else plug their headphones into the 1/8 inch and listen to the same sound you are. I tried it and I didn't notice a huge amount of audio loss when you were chaining the multiple sources together. There was a small amount in the end headphone unit, but I couldn't tell if it was because I was comparing them to the studio headphones versus a pair of earbuds, or if it was actually a dramatic amount of audio loss or tone loss or volume loss in the signal. But I did think that that was a really neat feature, and it gives you a lot of flexibility when you're trying to figure out what you're going to use these for. Again, if you travel, if you have a mixer set up at home and you use all 1/4 inch connections, and you just want to leave your cable here and just throw a little 3.5 millimeter cable or 1/8 inch in your bag to travel with, so you're not carrying a big cable with adapters and things, it makes it a really good unit to travel with if that's what you're trying to do as well. Now getting into the meats and guts of what you're really expecting to hear about here is the way these sound. I'm gonna be honest, I was really taken aback when I put these on for the first time, and I thought they sounded flat and hollow, and just there was no real oomph out of them. I don't really know the word to describe it, but coming from these HyperX headphones, it just sounded like the MAONO ones just didn't work well. But after several hours of listening, I really started to notice how my ears had not been trained to hear sounds what I would call properly. I went back and forth between the two sets very regularly, and after a while I started to notice that the HyperX sounded a lot more muddy every time I put them on. The bass was way overemphasized, and the highs were sharp, and they almost were kind of ear-piercing versus the flat tone response that the MAONO headphones had almost all the way across the board, which just gave you a better clarity and a better sound quality overall. I think that's kind of the emphasis in the way games are played and the way audio is done for gaming and the way these headphones are EQ'd when they're built. They're designed for loud explosions, various gunfights, and things like that for gaming purposes. So the EQ is set up to match that a little bit better. Whereas these are more designed for music production, vocal production, things like that. So they have a much more flat response. I can tell you now that I have worn these for about a 5 to 6 hour session, and yes, my ears do get a little sweaty in the process, but they are comfortable and they don't hurt as far as audio listening. There's nothing in them that drives me, crazy in what I'm hearing or anything like that, and they're just sound pretty decent for the price. Now, to be entirely honest, I want to say that this is probably not something, again, like I said, it's probably not something where you're going to grab your $75 gaming headphones and you're going to pick up a pair of studio headphones and you're going to notice immediate difference. It's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to build up, and you're going to have to understand what the differences are. But once you hear them, it's very, very hard to unhear them. At this point in time, after a week of testing this product, I have a hard time using these at all for any long period of time because I notice how different the sound is and how muddy everything comes out of them. Going into the final stages of this, just to try to provide you a little bit of my take on it, do I think these are worth $45 to $50? At this point in time, I really, really do. I don't have a lot of background to say what compares to other studio headphones, but considering that these were $70 and these were $50, I could say that the $50 ones, to me at this point in time, sound substantially better in the long run, and they just provide a better listening experience if you're doing music, movies, or anything along that line. If you're going with gaming, you could probably stick with these and never have an issue. But again, if you're doing long listening periods or anything like that, these MAONO headphones are going to be a great entry-level piece for you to start with, and they're just going to work well with you in the long run. I would love to have the opportunity in the future to step this up and do a couple more reviews on these different styles and models and manufacturers to see what the differences are and do some comparisons there. That way I have an opportunity to really give a great comparison between the different products. But that is going to be it for my review today. I appreciate you guys for watching this.
First up is build quality, and despite the headphones' mostly plastic design, they seem well built. Their design seems to borrow heavily from the Audio-Technica ATH M50s, and it makes sense to copy that. Those headphones are probably one of the best-selling headphones ever. Overall, I think that's a good thing. It's a very neutral, inoffensive, and professional-looking design. I particularly like the number measurements for the headband extension. It just makes it super easy to know exactly where you're at the moment you pick up the headphones. They also fold up into a rather compact size if you're looking to do some traveling with these. You will, however, probably want to get a different cable, as the one they include, it's coiled, it's nice, and it's thick, but that makes it heavy and not really ideal for travel or even exercise. The good news here is that it's easily replaceable, and seemingly any 3.5mm male-to-male cable will work. I also like that they include two 3.5mm to 1/4" adapters, but frankly it seems like an odd inclusion. In my experience, 1/4" female jacks tend to be found on more expensive, high-end, professional or enthusiast type equipment like DACs and headphone amps. If you're spending money on a headphone amp or DAC, chances are you're not looking to pair it with $40 headphones. Nevertheless, I'm not going to complain too much about a company including those little extras. I also like how the headphones have a jack on each ear cup, and this serves two functions. Firstly, you get to pick which side you want to plug the headphones in, left or right, and secondly, it basically acts as a headphone splitter. So let's say you only have one smartphone or audio source. Basically what you would do is just plug in the MH601 headphones into the source, and then you would take the second pair of headphones and just plug them into the free jack on the MAONO headphones, whichever ear cup that might be. It's cool if you're in a pinch, but I don't really ever see myself using this feature. Up next is comfort, and I want to preface this entire section by saying I have a giant head, I'm a glasses wearer, and I have chronic migraines, so trying to find comfortable headphones for me is a friggin' nightmare. Unfortunately, these did not fit the bill for me personally, but about 95% of the headphones I've tried don't either. So the question becomes, will these be comfortable for you or the average person? The short answer to that question I think is yes, but not for extended periods of time. Overall, I would describe the comfort as good, not great. The ear cups are soft and seem to be just regular foam. In terms of comfort, the biggest issue I have with these headphones is that the ear cups are circular in design and not oval like they should be. So unless you have really small ears, they're going to be resting half off and half on. So if we compare the MAONOs to the Sennheiser HD598, the HD569, and the Sony MDR1As, you'll notice that they all have an oval or egg-shaped ear cup. Yes, these three other headphones are comparatively much more expensive, but I have a hard time seeing how the shape of the ear cup would significantly affect costs. Given that a lot of the MAONO's design elements seem to be lifted from the Audio-Technica ATH-M50s, it's somewhat surprising that this design feature was not also copied. The headphone band is very lightly padded. Despite this, it did not seem to be a major point of discomfort for me. Thankfully, the headphones are pretty light at just 276 grams, so that does help significantly in terms of comfort. By comparison, my HD598s weigh around 250 grams, and those are the most comfortable headphones I've ever owned. In terms of overall comfort and ignoring the price, I'd probably score these a 6 or 7, where a 10 would be my Sennheiser HD598s, and the Sony MDR1As would be a 9 or a 9.5. Of course, build quality and comfort don't really mean much if the headphones sound terrible. Which leads me to the next section of this video, sound quality. Before we get into it, I do want to mention I did allow for burn-in, and I listened to these on my desktop computer with onboard audio and my old LG G4 smartphone. Unsurprisingly, these headphones are very easy to drive, and I wouldn't expect to see any real benefit with a headphone amp. That being said, I did notice that they sounded significantly better on my LG G4 when compared to my newer budget smartphone, the ZTE Blade 10. If you want to make sure to get the most out of these headphones, just make sure your smartphone or computer has a decent DAC. They got plenty loud just listening to them on my LG G4, with the comfortable max volume being just around 50%. Overall, the listening experience was surprisingly enjoyable. I really wasn't expecting much from these, but the music being played was engaging and fairly easy to get lost in. The soundstage was good as well, and since I do have 50mm drivers, that's to be expected. The bass is there, but it's very mild. Definitely not for bass heads, and I would probably avoid them if you primarily listen to dubstep or electronic music. It doesn't sound particularly tight or loose, just lacking. Mids overall sound good, however, in a few songs they did sort of overpower the listening experience. This didn't bother me too much, as I prefer a strong mid presence. Listening to Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's duet of Shallow, the vocals came on a bit strong, and it was a similar experience with George Michael's Careless Whisper. Sometimes the vocals also sounded a bit off, almost a little hollow. As for the treble or highs, they sound a bit recessed as well, but not to the same extent as the bass. Generally, I prefer my treble a little recessed because if there's too much, the headphones will be fatiguing to listen to. A well-known example of this is with the Sennheiser HD700 headphones, super detailed but piercing highs. I know it sounds like I'm pointing out a lot of negatives, and I am, but this is to be expected from a budget pair of headphones. They're not going to have a perfectly neutral sound signature. In fact, I don't even think most people even want a completely flat or neutral sound signature. I certainly don't. Subjectivity is an enormous part of headphones, so keep that in mind when watching reviews and deciding which ones to buy. That being said, I would have preferred a stronger bass presence with these, as I do tend to listen to a lot of electronic music. The treble could have been a bit more present as well, but I don't miss it as much as I do the bass. To kind of wrap things up, if I had gone in blind and tried these headphones out without knowing the price, I would have guessed that they cost around $50 or $60. That alone puts them as a win in my book. Despite all my nitpicking on the sound signature, when my brain wasn't analyzing every part of a song, I enjoyed what I was hearing. They're certainly not without their flaws, but for roughly $40, I think they offer good value. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, I hope you found it helpful. Special thanks to MAONO for sending these out for review. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them below and I'll do my best to get back to you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
I said I wasn't gonna get too into the audiophile aspects of it, but I have to let you guys know of something. They aren't exactly balanced. There is a bit more bass presence, but not like too much of it, which is kind of nice. So there definitely is more accentuated mids. Due to this, I can hear voices a lot clearer, which makes them being used for in-game communications with people pretty good, because I can hear my friends over the whole entire gunfire and battles and whatnot. A side effect of the mids is you're also able to catch footstep sounds much faster, as well as gunshot sounds. Now the soundstage isn't the biggest in the world, it is a closed back headphone, it's rather intimate, but there is some width to it. So I will be able to perceive more distance from a horizontal kind of plane, so it's less like you're in a bubble and more like you're in a hall. So forward and backward distances, I won't be able to judge as well as horizontal distances. But regardless, the soundstage is still kind of intimate, so I can tell when enemies are coming a lot sooner than if I use like a big soundstage headphone, and I think that's a benefit if you're playing a competitive shooter game. If you're playing a game where you want more immersion, these aren't gonna do that great for that because the soundstage is fairly small. But if you're a competitive gamer and you're communicating and stuff like that, these will do pretty good. Now let's talk about that gaming trick I told you about. So the consoles, especially the Switch, don't have the best in-game communications for multiplayer games. That's where this comes in. So what you're gonna need to do is take your headphone, plug in the included cable on that side. Now take another cable with a mic on it, plug that onto the other side. I would recommend the V-Moto Boom Pro microphone, but they're really hard to come by during this COVID period. Now the included cable should be plugged into your game system, whereas the cable with a mic will be plugged into, say, a phone or computer that's connected to Discord. And bada bing, bada boom, you now have a better way of communicating with your friends in battle. In practice, this made communicating with friends in battle so much easier. A lot better than Nintendo's solution. Yeesh. I should note that due to the limitations of technology and power, when someone talks through Discord, the volume of your game will be noticeably lowered in that instance, but will come back up as people stop talking. This actually isn't that bad because on PC, for Discord, this is a feature known as attenuation, which lowers game volume when people talk. Another thing I should note is that the feature for music sharing also transfers to Discord. What this means is that when you're playing with friends on Discord, anytime Discord is recording your voice, it'll also record a bit of the sound that's in your game. So if your volume is super loud and you're in the middle of talking to your friend and shooting at the same time, chances are your friends are also going to hear those shots. In my personal experience with my friends, the shots aren't that loud and it just sounds more like some background noise-ish kind of stuff when I'm talking to Discord. So this isn't exactly the best solution when it comes to using Discord for consoles, but it's a lot better than a lot of other ones out there, especially around this price of just around 40 bucks. Here's the price, at least at the time I'm making this video anyway. There are definitely better solutions out there that I have seen, but they also cost twice the price and more. It all comes down to use case scenario. If this fits your lifestyle where you need to be mixing music, playing games, and using one headphone for everything, and you find the idea of having two inputs being very useful and versatile, these could be the ones for you. Now you can also get another pair of headphones that are around the same price as this one, but chances are you're not going to get the two input jacks. That's something that's kind of hard to find these days, even in more expensive headphones. It's something that's kind of niche that people don't really appreciate as much. Hope this has helped you at all, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a quick review of an inexpensive pair of headphones from MAONO. We found these on Amazon for about 50 bucks. We're going to go ahead and check them out and see how they do and if they'll be good for DJs, home DJs, maybe a great backup, maybe just for pure listening pleasure. So sit back, relax, check out this quick review of the MAONO MH601 studio headphones. If this is your first time to the channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. This channel is pretty much dedicated to finding inexpensive gear for mobile DJs, home DJs, bedroom DJs, home disco enthusiasts, and anybody who likes to have a little fun with live sound, lighting, or anything similar at home. Ready? Here we go. We're going to open this box. It's a MAONO Studio Headphones MH601. In the box, we have this little bag. Just a piece of, it's a styrofoam cover. It's not going to be a reusable bag. And we have the headphones. All right, the headphones seem to have a nice little fold up, kind of DJ-ish, but you can't seem to fold them both together, but that's all right. We have some adjustment. We have a left and a right marking. All right. That's nice. We can flip them in and out. Flip them all the way around. Spring loaded. They look nice. They got an M on the side with a little silver splashing. We definitely have some plastic. I don't feel any metal. MAONO. All right. Side looks like we have a little bit of a little cloth on the headband part, and we have some pretty thick synthetic material here. They're super light. The box shows we got a little red here, but they are silver, which is cool. They're very they're cool. And besides that, it looks like we have an eighth inch plug and a 1/4 inch plug, but the wire's not on them. We're gonna go ahead and set them on the ear. Comfortable, very comfortable. They're very light. Don't do that. It's a pretty nice spring. Nice. Why are they gonna sit like that? Look at that. They bend nicely. They'll sit nice. Easy to go one ear. Turn one out. It's nice. I'm looking at pose side camera, but very light. I hate messing up my hair, so I rarely put them over my head. So. It's good. Good. Very light. Not very noise. There's not a lot of noise blockage. I mean, there's obviously dampens the sound some, but I can hear my snap, no problem. There's not much going on here. I can still hear the fan from my computer. But let's see what else is in the box, guys. Headphones look nice. And you have a nice bag of coiled cord. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. We got a nice... So it easily goes over 6 feet if needed. All right, and then you have... oh, that's nice. So you have 1/8 inch stereo to 1/4 inch stereo on both ends, and both have adapters, and they both screw on adapters, so they're going to stay where you want them to. Nice and easy. So that's what you got. You got the headphones, you got the cord included, you got the adapters, 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch. Looks good. I mean, for DJing, you don't really want much longer than that. It's nice. Put them on the right way again. Yes, I do. So this is nice because you can obviously just take it out and go. Yeah, you can just take it out and go. You can pull them out, not worry about it. They're very comfortable. All right, let's check out the sound and see what we think. John Williams, Star Wars, killing it. I just checked these things out with a little Dr. Dre, with a little hard rock, and even John Williams doing the original Star Wars theme, and they sound really good. So I like to use a bunch of different music. I I don't use headphones at home that often, but I might start because I miss music being that nice and that nice stereo field. So I do like them. They're really inexpensive. They're light. They sound great. And I do like the included cord, and I like the flexibility of this, and this. These are great little DJ headphones. They're great for home. They're great for just chillaxing and listening. I didn't try them with my phone. I'm going to plug them right into my computer system, basically. And they're great. They get really loud. The bass is pretty good. And the clarity of music, such as classical, sounds really nice, guys. Check these out for $50. They're a 5-star buy for me.
Well, hello, folks. Mark Anthony here. Welcome back. You know, normally when I'm editing my YouTube videos or listening to music or whatever it is I'm doing up in my office, I normally wear a high-end, big-name brand headphones, and I've worn them for years and I love them. And then I got to put these on my ears. The MAONO MH601 over-the-ear headphones, and I've got to tell you, I love these things. I didn't think, especially for the price that I paid for them, I'm like, okay, all right, I'll try these. Yeah, all right, let's just see what these are like. And they fit over my ears, and I have big ears. I have a big head, all right. Very good sound quality. Don't hear a whole lot of stuff outside. I mean, outside here, it's got to be loud. So it's got a very good noise cancellation on it. One of the features that I did not expect was that it has the capabilities of 2 separate inputs, all right? First of all, you have the big one, all right, which goes in there, all right? Now, they do have, this is the cable that comes with it, all right? It's supposed to go out to be about 6 feet. This is the only thing I don't like. This is the one thing that for me is this cable is just way too short, all right? But anyway, they have the adapter to go from the 3 to the 6, all right? However, what is really nice, what I did is I just bought a longer cable for my purposes. Okay, this is my opinion, all right? However, I found really cool because it has 2 inputs, all right? Over there, right there, as well as over here. Now, so you can use 2 different types of cables. However, what I found, especially doing my YouTube videos and my Zoom meetings, is I can have 2 completely different inputs. All right, I can be monitoring my output, my video, and I can be hearing something else. Okay, I can be listening to somebody queuing up to be interviewed, or whatever it is. I can actually have a second input. All right, so separate ear, but I can have 2 different inputs. All right, now the other thing I like is that it has that whole twist thing so that you can do this, all right? Really, you see it in the movies and it looks cute and all that, and it's like, really, do they really do that? Yes, you'll find yourself doing this a lot, especially if you're doing YouTube videos and you're trying to, anyway, all right. But also, they fold up really nice, okay? They actually do. I can't do it right now because it doesn't want me to. There it is. All right, there it is. Folds up really nice, very easy. These are spring-loaded, which is really nice. So it goes back to being ready to go over the ears. All right. And again, the quality of the craftsmanship, the whole build quality is actually very good. Again, going back to the price point, okay? I was expecting to pay twice this for what I got for I mean, I was really skeptical because I'm used to a more name brand headphones, but these are on me for hours every day, literally. It's just okay, and so with these, I can actually block out, you know, my dogs running into my office, my wife calling me, and things like that. I can actually just, you know, but you can actually go for hours. If I was to plug this in downstairs to watch TV, I don't think I would ever leave. So there it is. All right, check them out. Seriously, folks. I mean, if you're looking for a new pair of quality headphones at a really reasonable price, especially if you're going to do anything, you know, to edit video, edit soundtracks, whatever, I would highly, okay, because I do podcasting as well. So these are really nice, and I've fallen in love with them. All right, so those are my thoughts. Enjoy them. All right. Check the show notes for more information. I'm Mark Anthony. See you next time.
This is the MAONO Man, why y'all gotta make such hard to pronounce brand names? MAONO MH601 studio headphones. The retail price for it is $43, and we'll be comparing it to my headset, the HyperX Cloud Revolver, that goes for around $118. It's basically 1/3 the price, so we'll see how it holds up. For the packaging, the box is sleek, but if you look inside, the box comes with an informational packet and a baggie that contains the audio cord. There's not much cushioning, but no company riffraff either. Just the key things you need. As long as your UPS driver ain't yeeting your packages, it should be okay, but HyperX wins out with luxurious packaging. The AU has some interesting features, a 3.5mm jack and a 6.35mm jack, which I haven't really seen before. If you use equipment that requires that, then there you go. It also supports headset sharing, so if you and the boys got some MAONOs together, it's gonna be pretty lit! That's one thing it has over the Revolver. However, it lacks external media control and doesn't have a microphone. As you can see, the cord is spirally, which helps prevent tangling, but might be awkward when extending it, so it's up to you to decide if it's a pro or con. I like that the jack is on an angle because it will help prevent cord damage, unlike the Revolver, which is stiff straight, so I need to be more careful with it. The HyperX has standard quality features like a microphone and audio adjuster, while the AU has more uncommon features like a different jack or headphone sharing. You can decide based on your needs, so it's a tie. Looking at build quality, it feels like it has similar material to the Revolver, but it lacks the metal support band and leathery fabric for the ear cups. While both pads are pleasant to wear, the larger over-ear design of the Revolver makes it a little bit more comfortable, especially for long-term use. But while still being sturdy, the AU can fold in to save space, so that's good for storage and on-the-go use. HyperX still wins in build quality, but the AU is excellent for its price point. For audio, both headsets are great. They sound virtually the same all around for bass, lows, highs, mids, etc. But because of the open cover of the Revolver, it makes the audio sound more natural and a bit better. The AU's closed off cups though do allow for better noise cancellation. Overall, the AU is an excellent headset even when compared to a higher end headset. The Revolver may be more comfortable and have a bit better sound quality, but for only $43, the AU rocks out. Whatever uses you need it for, the AU has you covered, but the Revolver is geared more towards gaming, so it does better in that category. Now, will I be using these headphones? I think I'm still gonna go with my OG HyperX Revolver, cause obviously I'm a gamer girl! But really, these are gonna be graciously donated to my brother since the other day his feeble skull candy snapped, so let's see what he thinks of it.
Sounds very clear. I like how it sounds like it's not blasting in your ear, but it's like kind of right, like there's enough space inside the headphone so that it's like not, the sound waves aren't banging against your eardrum. Guitar sounds good. I love how crispy and clear it sounds, like you could hear every single instrument, every single beat. and change in pitch and tone. Alright, so I think the comfort of these headphones, it's not really that much different. They both feel very comfortable. I mean, maybe they feel a little bit different, like the outer covering right here that wraps around your ears when you put it on. It feels more smooth, while these headphones over here, it feels more leathery. But I think that they both still feel pretty comfortable in my opinion. I honestly don't think I could really tell much of a difference between the two. They both sound really good. These are some good headphones, and I think they're also pretty durable too. 0.5 centimeter thick. That's pretty thick right there.
Hallo und willkommen zum Test der MAONO Studio Kopfhörer. In diesem Test erfahrt ihr alles, was ihr darüber wissen müsst. In der Packungsbeilage befindet sich einmal ein Kabel und der typische Papierkram. Die Kopfhörer fühlen sich auf den ersten Blick sehr hochwertig an und sind sehr gut verarbeitet. Auch die Polster sind ziemlich weich und ich kann mir gut vorstellen, die auch länger zu tragen. Und man kann natürlich auch die Größen verstellen, so dass man sie an seinen eigenen Kopf anpassen kann. Das mitgelieferte Kabel ist zwar für mich zu groß, da mein Rechner so einen Anschluss nicht hat, aber man kann natürlich auch sein AUX-Kabel anschließen, ist zwar nicht mitgeliefert, aber ich hatte zu Hause eins rumliegen, sowas sollte man auf jeden Fall bedenken, wenn man sich diese kauft. Ich habe die Kopfhörer jetzt an meinem Mikrofon angeschlossen und jetzt kann ich praktisch komplett die Tonqualität überwachen und ich höre mich jetzt gerade selbst bei dem Mikrofon und ich muss einfach sagen, man hört einfach wieder die geile Tonqualität ohne Verfälschung, gerade so wie es aus meinem Mikrofon rauskommt, man hört kaum Grundrauschen. Der Ton hat so die perfekte Mitte von Bass und Höhe, was einfach ein perfektes Klangbild ergibt und ist auf jeden Fall praktisch so aufzunehmen. Vor allem kann man noch sagen, dass es vor allem ziemlich weich ist, das heißt, ich kann auch wirklich, wofür Studio-Kopfhörer gedacht sind, mal auch mal so 10 Stunden am Stück, ja, so lang schneide ich pro Tag, die Kopfhörer auflassen und ich sehe einfach, wie richtig bequem die Kopfhörer sind. Die passen einfach genau auf die Hörmuschel. Nicht, dass sie hier drauf drücken und nicht, dass sie auf die Ohren drücken, sondern sie haben einfach eine perfekte Form und sie sind auch nicht so schwer, was das Ganze auch leichter zu tragen macht und sie sitzen einfach so auf dem Kopf, dass ich sagen kann, als wenn ich jetzt 10 Minuten weiter ins Aufnehmen, merke ich gar nicht mehr, dass ich überhaupt Kopfhörer auf habe und trotzdem habe ich die Vorteile dieses Kopfhörerpaars und dazu muss man einfach sagen, das ist ziemlich gut gelöst und das finde ich auf jeden Fall eine geile Investition. Ich meine, für 50 € seinen Ton immer perfekt zu hören, finde ich auf jeden Fall gut und kann ich vor allem auch nur weiterempfehlen. Was mir auch aufgefallen ist, dass ziemlich wenig Ton durchkommt. Das heißt, man kann zum Beispiel auch mit anderen Leuten zusammenarbeiten und sie fühlen sich nicht gestört durch den Ton, da praktisch keine Außentöne rauskommen, was ich auch nochmal ziemlich praktisch finde. Und jetzt testen wir mal, ob man durch die Kopfhörer durchhört. Ich werde jetzt den Clip abspielen in normaler Lautstärke, also so wie ich jetzt gerade rede und wir hören dann mal, ob man was hört. Ich bin wirklich sehr überrascht, denn wie ihr selbst gehört habt, hört man einfach gar nichts durch, was ich ziemlich krass finde.
Ich ziehe jetzt eine Kopfhörer an und ich versuche mal meine Bewertung zu geben. Die Kopfhörer kann man super in die Ohren anpassen, so einfach und problemlos. Die haben eine sehr gute Soundqualität. Ich werde die Kopfhörer weiterempfehlen. Preisverhältnis ist sehr gut, also für das Geld kriegt man nichts Besseres. Der Sound ist auch ziemlich klar und deutlich, keine Geräusche oder Störung, also das finde ich super. War heftig, Bewegung vom Kopf, die sitzt ziemlich gut. Die wackeln nicht, die rutschen nicht, also ich finde es super.
Ich habe viele bekannte Personen gefragt, was sie zu diesen Kopfhörern sagen und sie waren einfach begeistert. Vor allem für 50 € liefern sie eine super Tonqualität ab, was ziemlich keiner erwartet hat. Ich und auch viele andere Leute, die diese Kopfhörer ausprobiert haben, können sie nur weiterempfehlen. Von daher war es das jetzt auch mit meinem Test. Ich hoffe, ich kann euch bei eurer Kaufentscheidung helfen. Von daher war es das von mir.
What is up, you guys? I'm Kelly, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. On today's video, we're going to be doing a review on the new studio headphones by MAONO. I do want to point out that these headphones were sent to me by MAONO for review, but that's not going to be changing any of my thoughts in review. If you're interested on these headphones, I'll have the link down below. I've had these headphones for a while now, and I can definitely tell you that these headphones were made with quality in mind. The headphones do pack a punch. They have two 50mm drivers for sound quality. The frequency range on these headphones is from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. The maximum input power for these headphones is 100 milliwatts and an impedance of 32 ohms. Without further ado, let's get straight into the unboxing. The package has a very professional and sleek look, and it's very informative regarding the product inside the box, which as a buyer is very appreciated. On the back of the box, there's a warning explaining a few things that you should not do, such as wearing the headphones while driving because they can be a bit dangerous, and some specs at the bottom which I'll be going over in just a few seconds. And they also encourage you not to disassemble the headphones because it will void the warranty. Once we open the box, the first thing you'll see is the studio headphones, wrapped up in a foam bag, along with a user manual and an extra long headphone cable, which is 9.8 feet long when stretched out all the way. A cool feature about these headphones is that it comes with a 6.35mm to a 3.5mm female jack, and you can screw and unscrew the 6.35mm on top of the 3.5mm on both sides of the cable. Personally, I would have liked to see the headphones come in on a cardboard protective shelf instead of the foam bag. That way it'll protect the headphones more in the shipping process, but that's just my personal opinion. I will tell you this, these headphones do not feel like a $40 pair of headphones at all. The quality is outstanding. They have a soft touch grip on both sides and the MAONO logo right in the middle of the speaker, with a metal ring around the logo. On top we'll have a leather type of material with the name brand in the middle. And now for the head padding. It has a breathable cloth for long hours of usage and they are very comfortable. The padding around the ear are super comfortable and they do a great job at cancelling noise. You can also adjust the size of the headphones on both sides, and even though I have a big old head, I didn't need to extend them all the way. These headphones have a 90-degree turn on both sides, and whenever you let go, they'll go back to the center. Another cool feature about these headphones is that you can fold them for carrying or storing purposes. This particular headphones don't come in with a carrying case or bag, but you can find one on Amazon for about $10. I have a link down below. Each side has a letter engraved to point out which is the right and left side. This headset has two input jacks, a 3.5mm on the right and a 6.35mm on the left. And another cool feature about this headset is that you can share audio with others by plugging another headset to the headphone jacks on the MAONO headset. This works for the 3.5mm and the 6.35mm. If you decide after this review that you want to purchase one for yourself, the link will be down below. So that was it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy this video and was helpful in any way, please make sure to leave a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done that already. This was your boy MaxCali, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Today I'm just kind of unboxing and reviewing these MAONO's studio headphones, and I was looking for something that didn't have a mic built into it that actually fit my head and sounded really good. And so just kind of show you a couple of things here. So first of all, when you open it up, you can kind of see them. They're packed up real nice. They just kind of unfold like this. Real good indicators right here. You got your left and your right, and man, real good feel when you first put them on. Real squishy, which is nice. Also, just brought these on because I do wear glasses when I'm playing, and one of the things that I wanted was some headphones that fit good with the glasses, and because of the padding, they fit pretty good. And so we've got good stuff going on there. So the last thing, which is real nice about these, is you got two different size jacks that you can do, and easily can just come across right here. And so what's really nice about this is I can use them for traveling on my phone, my tablet when I'm playing, my Nintendo Switch, but also I can use them for plugging into my electric piano and guitar amp, and so I can practice guitar, not hear anything. The sound's really good. Has low basses. It sounds really good when you're playing in game. You can hear the voices real well. Do recommend using some kind of software mixer to help with everything. But overall, it's really good quality. They feel really nice, and I'm really excited to give them a try for a while. And you can get those on Amazon. A friend recommended them, and so far I'm really enjoying them. And I look forward to some more stuff that they produce, because so far I've had some really good luck with their quality.
The headphones are really great. I really like that you can jump them off. So basically, you can share the monitoring with somebody else. So not only is it really cool that it's got the size jack that's appropriate, for studio monitoring, so you can listen to your audio live while you're recording it and you're doing your podcasting and everything like that. It's also got that other jack, so you can plug in another set of headphones and somebody else can monitor it with you. Or you can use it just plain old plug it into your computer and be listening to what's coming out of your computer, and somebody else can also be listening to your computer audio at the same time. And that's also really, really cool. Just being able to jump off like that. Not a lot of headphones do that, and I think more should, because it's a neat feature. They're really comfortable. I've been wearing them for about an hour now almost, and they're pretty solid. Like I was worried initially that they'd be too hot, but I've not like really noticed my ears getting all sweaty and everything like that, and I've got lights on me and everything. So I think I definitely would have by now. And it's in the middle of summer. So these are really good. You know, I was worried that they'd be too hot, but they're not really. So with that being said, they're comfy. They're a little bit big, and I say that as a guy with a big head. But other than that, that's kind of the only thing with that. So it's not really a problem how big they are. They are just a little bit big, and I feel like it would make the noise isolation better if they were just a smidge, and I mean just a smidge smaller. But the noise isolation is great. They're $40, and I've had headphones for like $20 or so that were way worse. So like spend just a smidge more and get some actual studio monitoring headphones. I'll never make that mistake again. Like if you're going to spend $20, save up just a little bit more and get these, because these are going to be better than any of the other like cheaper headphones that you get. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But the quality is fantastic. The noise isolation is good. And yeah, you know, the features are really nice that it splits up like that. So, but yeah.
I just got the MAONO MH601 studio headphones. Pretty great. I didn't know what to think because like how big the over-the-ear is, but it makes it so there's plenty of room for your ears on the inside. The padding's really nice, and the top here actually has like some cloth instead of like the fake leather that most headphones have. I really love like the DJ style where it can like fully like rotate like that. At first I thought there was a little too much pressure here and here, but I realized like you can adjust all this to help your fit. I do really love that there's a 1/4 inch jack. And on the other side, there's an 1/8 inch jack, and it's removable, so if something happens to this, you don't have to get rid of the whole headset. I especially love that you can twist off this adapter, and it can become just like the smaller headphone jack, and it comes with all the stuff, so super nice. I love how both ends are right angle, because it makes it easier to fit into the spaces, and I don't know, it's just nice to have that option instead of, you know, having like the long connector go directly in. As far as how they sound, these aren't necessarily like my main headphones. I still have some tried and true ones I've had for decades that I use, but these are really, really great if I just want to change a pace. But also, in addition to making music, I'm part of a couple podcasts, and these are perfect for the podcast. It isolates the outside pretty well. You can hear everything very clearly, and these are like half the cost of a similar headphones, or the value. It's been really, really great. So pretty happy with these. They feel like they're going to last a while, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of podcasting and making some music with these.